Do you remember the Gizmondo? It was a handheld gaming console that was developed and released by the Swedish electronics company Tiger Telematics back in 2005. Many had high hopes for it because it was meant to be the holy grail of gaming consoles, as it boasted unique features that set it apart from its competitors.
So you can play games on it, you can listen to music, you can watch movies. They could be stored on the SD card, which is external. The memory can get up to 1 gigabyte in memory.
It had a built-in camera, multimedia messaging capabilities, and many other components not commonly found on handheld gaming devices. However, a host of reasons, which included its manufacturer's ties with a dreaded criminal organization, led to its ultimate downfall. Continue watching this video as we take a closer look at what the Gizmondo was all about and the reason why it failed. In the early 2000s, the handheld gaming console market was heating up. With the success of the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS, it seemed like a good time for a new player to enter the game. And that is exactly what happened when Tiger Telematics introduced their new device, the Gizmondo. You see, the main reason why the Gizmondo even existed in the first place was because Tiger Telematics CEO Carl Freer wanted to find a way of incorporating GPS technology into a child tracker. And he felt the best way to go about this was to include a gaming interface in the tracker. That way, any child would be willing and eager to carry the device around with them. Obviously, the majority of Tiger Telematics staff felt this was a brilliant idea, and work began in earnest to create the Gizmondo. In March 2005, after several months of development, the Gizmondo was finally launched in the United Kingdom.
Gizmondo is based in the UK, and they're releasing a gaming device that does a lot of multimedia capabilities, video, audio, GPS navigation, GPRS for text messaging, and of course, great 3D gaming.
Tiger Telematics extravagantly spent millions on promotions. This included organizing a lavish launch party and even getting endorsements from different well-known personalities. At this point, let's talk about the features of the Gizmondo. The bean-shaped console was powered by a 400 MHz AMR9 processor running on a customized version of Microsoft's Windows CE operating system. This meant that users could not only play games, but also surf the internet, listen to music, and watch videos. Another unique feature that set it apart from the other handheld gaming consoles was its 0.3 megapixel camera, which could be used for taking photos. But that's not all. It also had a tri-band GSM radio and removable SIM card, which worked together to supply an internet connection for emails and to send and receive SMS, MMS messages. So, with all this potential that clearly surpassed that of competitors, the question is, why did Gizmondo fail? Well, for starters, it was simply too expensive. When it was released in 2005, the console cost a whopping $400. This was a price tag that was simply too high for most consumers, especially when compared to competitors like the Nintendo DS, which cost $149 and was making waves in the gaming world around the same time. Another reason why the Gizmondo failed was due to its lack of quality games. The console was marketed as a multimedia device, but the gaming library was lacking, to say the least. Most of the games available for the console were either poorly made or were simply existing games. The few original ones that were released for the console failed to generate any real interest from gamers, which ultimately hurt the chances of success. But perhaps the biggest issue with the Gizmondo was the people behind it. Tiger Telematics made several questionable decisions that contributed to the console's downfall. For instance, it spent an exorbitant amount of money on marketing and promotion, which only proved to be a waste of resources. But that's not all. Shortly after the console launched in the United States on October 22, 2005, the Swedish press made a shocking revelation. It was discovered that some of the executives running Tiger Telematics had deep ties with the notorious criminal organization called the Swedish Uppsala Mafia, and one of the executives was a man named Stefan Eriksson. After all these got out into the open, both Freer, who was the CEO, and Eriksson resigned from their positions in the company. Things got more serious from there. In February 2006, Eriksson was arrested and charged with grand theft auto. The charges were a result of his involvement in a car crash while driving a car that had been leased from the Royal Bank of Scotland. He later spent 2 years in California prison before being deported to face more charges in Sweden. In the same month that Eriksson was arrested, Tiger Telematics also filed for bankruptcy after amassing a debt of around $300 million US. And due to this, the production of the Gizmondo stopped. In the end, Gizmondo failed to make its mark in the gaming industry and sold fewer than 25,000 units. In conclusion, Gizmondo may have been a flop, but it is important to acknowledge its place in gaming history and the potential it had to shake up the industry. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos on dead technology and learn why it got killed.